I think it's unhealthy. I think it's unhealthy just for one indication that we don't see many rising bands, four guys playing drums, bass, guitar, and vocals and doing their thing. It's not as frequent as the other genres. It is an indication that things are not going well because the current bands are not staying forever, right? And there will be a gap in the next 10 years. And maybe that gap will produce new bands, right? But until now, I don't see serious bands out there.
Welcome to another episode of Afikra's Quartertones series. My name is Mikey Mhenna. With me is Basem Sayej from Akher Zapheer, which is a rock band from Amman, Jordan, formed in 2007. Basem, you have been a big part of the grunge scene in Jordan, but also in the entire region and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the show.
Thanks, Mikey. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks.
So let's start with the name.
Yeah.
Insofar as you guys are a grunge band, I feel like you have to be referencing one of the iconic grunge bands of all time. Is that what's going on?
Not really, actually. So, like, the label grunge was stuck to us at the beginning, because yes, at the beginning we were very grungy, let's say, and we tried, like, the identity was revolving around these guys who are playing power chords on their Fender Strats and all that. But yeah,
with your flannel,
exactly. So, but like the name has nothing. Like the name. I just wanted a two-part name, and it was supposed to be Akher Madineh, which means the last city, because basically the songs are inspired from Amman and from life in Amman. So, but Akher Madineh was, I thought about it, and then Zapheer popped up, and A to Z, and it's all about, like, the music. We are not targeting anything. It's all about self-expression, thus the Sai and the Zapheer and all that. And it sounds like phonetically it's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's funny because Amman is I think a kind of a misunderstood city.
Yes, definitely.
What do you think people don't get about Amman, about daily life in Amman?
They don't get the complexity of the social structure in Amman, and thus the chemistry between the people, the real one, right? Like they cannot, like, you get a general image when you come to Jordan for 1 week, but if you live in Amman for a whole year, you'll understand where everything is coming from when you deal with people. Let's say it this way.
Yeah, it's tough. Life in Amman is tough. It is a very bruising place.
It's sweet and sour, let's say, because if it was only tough, like, people would not express for it with passion and love, because you miss Amman when you leave Amman. Basically, you miss the old city, you miss the first circle, you miss all. It has its own magic, but with every magic there are challenges and that, and like the location of the country itself is hard for the country.
Yeah. So let's go back to 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in bands before this? Were you one of those kids who was just in a million cover bands and then in high school learning Metallica?
Basically,
one of those
yes.
Kids?
So like my opportunity to get on stage was through a music school. Thus, I joined the music school because I know that music school did, like, stage shows as a graduation party for their students and so on. So I was 13, and I stayed there for 6 months and got my first gig through that school. And I asked them to, even, like, me and another guy who was studying at that school, we asked them to play 2 Nirvana songs. Yeah, and there was this.
What were they? Which songs?
We played "Man Who Sold the World" and "Polly." Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically.
Standards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that, like in school, I played in 2 bands basically for 2 shows, because like the show came before the band sometimes, and you needed to gather the guys. Let's put a set list, and it's all school kids and all that. So yeah, there were like I did like 2 shows on stages with a crowd that is not that are not parents, you know. So and then like I disconnected when I became 18. I was focused on my studying, and when I like got my bachelor's 22, I won't. It was an itch that I had to itch, and I had to create that band. And I was meanwhile all that, like since I was 14, I was writing songs, so I needed an envelope for them to show them to people. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because like we're about the same age, and and you know, when I was in high school, all the kids who like me were wanted to start a band. You learn the classic repertoire, right? You learn you know, some Pink Floyd, and you learn some Deep Purple, and you learn some Metallica, and you learn some Guns N' Roses, and a few Nirvana songs. But it's sort of this like big milieu of stuff, right? When did you kind of start focusing on this type of sound, which some people would call alternative, some people would call grunge? I mean, like, when did you kind of fall into this specific sound instead of, you know, some metal, like, or I was not, you know, Dream Theater stuff?
It's not like I picked the sound. So you start as a fan, right? And you start imitating your heroes, basically, and and it goes even better when you imitate your hero and you find yourself good at it, imitating your hero. So you diverge a bit and you try to be more original. But like there are remnants of your hero in everything that you do until there are not, right?
Yeah.
So like I did not choose the sound. It's the answer for that. Maybe I didn't even understand sound. I didn't even know what sound is until I got into grunge, then went out of grunge.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the members of the band. On your website, you know, it's like Basem is the only sort of long-standing original member. How have you managed the, you know, the sort of carousel of people coming in and out of the band? Like, what does that even feel like and look like?
It's not an easy process to marry and divorce people, right? So it's the same thing, like because you love the guys and you don't want to leave anyone behind, but life takes you and life takes them away from you as well. Because at the end of the day, I barely worked with full-time musicians. They are all people who had passion and had other things going on the side. So and it's hard to keep them in your passion, in your songs, in your project. You can keep them like for a while until it gets repetitive, then like, and it's hard to reward them as well. Like you reward them as much as you can, but it's not enough sometimes. So yeah, it's overwhelming, but all good, let's say.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about your first album, Converse Culture. You know, they always say that you sort of spend, you know, a lifetime writing your first album, and then you have to write your second album in 2 years. Talk to me about writing that album, what that was like, and if by the end of writing it, you were just like, just get it out there, I'm sick of these songs.
Yeah, and actually it didn't happen this way, because in the first album, the songs were like songs from the last 10 years that I wrote, even like without a band, okay? And I knew that, okay, this song I want to show it to people, and this song and this song. So these were the picked songs for the album, for my first album, okay? And so like some songs are 2003 even. 2 songs are 2003 and 2005. I was 19. But like they were released until 2010 or so. So yes, that's from the writing part. But the experience with like that album, that was my first encounter with the studio and with a sound engineer and how things needed to be done. And that was the hectic part because like I'm a hobbyist at that stage. And like, let's say I'm completely illiterate on how to produce a song, how to manufacture a song, right? And that's where I met like my first producer and like a very important person in the story of the band, which is Sari Abul Adel. And yeah, he understood the value of the songs. He saw the crap and moved it away and just took the jewel. Like he's the guy who believed in me, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And he made that happen. Like without him, I couldn't have made that album happen because like I needed some mentorship on how to do things. So yeah, it was a very nice experience, like a very lengthy one. I maybe like 2-3 years worked on that album, in and out the studio.
And while you're working on it, like, was the idea, okay, I'm going to be a professional musician. This is, I'm going to go on tour. I'm going to sell a bunch of albums, or it was like, this is a hobbyist thing, and these are just songs inside me that I need to get out.
I need to get out. It's all about that feeling. Never accounted for the industry part of things or that. Like never. I even uploaded. Many songs were uploaded much later on the musical platforms, like, because I never cared about that. I do care about that now because yeah, it hurts.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I feel like hip hop in the Arab world is going through this moment right now. Because quite frankly, there are business executives who realize that they can make a lot of money off this.
Totally.
And so there is a very clear industrial motive that says there's a global interest in hip hop, and the Arab world has tons of young people. They want to buy records. They want to go to shows. And so we need to look for artists and performers to feed the beast.
Also,
do you feel like you're part of that as well?
I just wanted to add on the hip hop part. So I think also, yes, like there is money to make and all that, but also what drives that is it's the apps, it's the social media, and what like supply and demand, right? And what is trending is what's driving these music, the people in the music industry to do their decisions.
Yeah.
So it's basically the top of the chain is very commercial. It's very economic, right?
Yeah.
But when it happened to let's talk about the bands from, let's say, my age, right? All the other bands,
like who
they were not driven by
that generation,
by the same motives. They were pure musicianship, let's say, and they wanted to show their ability, their songwriting, and the love to audience and all that. Yeah, like the pure concepts in music industry, not the So back to your question. I know that I'm never affected by anything but songwriting and showing my music to people. If I lose that urge, there won't be any Akher Zapheer, even if there was money in Akher Zapheer. So until now, I'm playing on the same basics that I started on, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you feel like you came up with people? Do you feel like you're part of a generation of musicians? Like, do you kind of look around the room and you're like, oh, there's this group and we started together.
Totally, yes.
This group in Beirut and this group in Egypt and this group in Kuwait. Like, who's in your generation?
Who's in my generation? I say Jadal, Murabba, Autostrad. Although Autostrad are a bit older, but still include because 2008-7 they were there. 2 years later, Jadal was there. So yeah.
Do you guys?
What?
Are you like connected from? I mean, definitely. I would imagine Jadal, you guys are close because you're both in Amman. But like, are you guys all connected, and are you all sharing ideas and thoughts, or is it sort of just like
no? It's just
admiration from afar.
Yeah, we know each other, right? We were closer maybe back in the days when we were younger, when we met in parties, and But now everyone is doing their thing in their own. Everyone is an adult who has lots of responsibilities, so that took us away. But sharing ideas and sharing that, I'm like, I don't share ideas with many people, but so there are some artists that I share ideas with, yes, and I take their opinion. Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, before we go into the first clip, I'm curious, what do you think the sort of like the health of the rock, I'm just going to use rock as a broad term. Yeah. It's too broad of a term, but just,
let's say,
I don't know a better term to use. But what do you think the sort of the health of the Arab rock scene is in 2023?
I think it's unhealthy. I think it's unhealthy just for one indication that we don't see many rising bands, like 4 guys playing drums, bass, guitar, and vocals and doing their thing. Like, it's not as frequent as the other genres. So it is an indication that things are not going well, because the current bands are not staying forever, right? And there will be a gap in the next 10 years. And maybe that gap will produce new bands, right? But until now, I don't see serious bands out there.
Yeah.
New serious bands.
Why is it? Do you think is there like a censorship issue, or it's just, what's going on?
It's the general mood these days, the past few years, right? It's the support, it's the endorsements also. It's the booking agent it's cheaper for a booking agent to get one artist doing overdubs rather than a full band with a mic, drums, and a 300 a day amp to rent. So many factors, but the headline is like consumerism and fast money, let's say. I don't want to blame it totally on that. We can't be like very absolute about it, but yeah, when you see how things are running, it's easier. Also, there's a drive to be a celebrity. You have to ask the musician this question: do you want to be a musician? Do you want to write the best song, or do you want to be the most famous musician? Because what is the drive these days? What drives everyone to write bars over beats? The easiness to do it. You can do it over your laptop, while a guitar is an expensive instrument that needs an amp, and if you want to do it the right way, you need over $1,000, which is hard for an 18-year-old in the Arab world. So it's easier to do things on your laptop, and
yeah. So they're choosing the money over the art, essentially.
Money, time, yeah.
I want to talk about. I want to listen to some of your music. So let's go to the first track. I asked you to send me some tracks that you wanted to share, since this is Quartertones. Okay. So this is from your first album. So tell us the name of the track, why you chose it, and what it's about before we listen to it.
Okay, the name of the track is Bteghwee, which means seduces. Okay?
Yeah.
But like a female sheep seduces, right? And why I chose this track is because it's the least famous track and least watched track in the first album, and it's my favorite track in the album as well. I really like how, like, for me, this song sounds the best in the album, sound-wise. This is how I wanted the whole album to sound like.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Here, let's listen to it.
Sure.
So that came out in 2012, right?
Yeah.
You know what it sounds like to me? Maybe you're going to like this comment or not, but it reminds me a lot of Audio Slave.
Okay.
Did you used to listen to Audio Slave? What?
Yeah. I like Chris Cornell. I got his first when he got here. He went solo. I got his album. It was amazing, and then he went Audio Slave. Yeah, that was a good band. But like I don't know. But vocally, it's not. Maybe music.
No, vocally, definitely not. No, definitely not vocally, for sure. Who do you think some of your vocal inspiration is?
I think like Chino Moreno, Deftones, definitely. Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, definitely. Tom York, Radiohead, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I feel a lot of Radiohead in this.
And Zemfira, basically Russian band. She is Zemfira, and the band's name is Zemfira. And Duman from Turkey, Dumana. Very inspiring.
Yeah. Do you feel like this music is Arab music or just music with Arabic lyrics?
I think it's music with Arabic lyrics. As abstract as that, right? Because you can represent this in any form that you want. I can get a oud and the tabla and let's do it but the chords and the progression and the sequence of the notes, that's the holy thing in the whole thing. That's the DNA for me. So yeah. But yeah, it's Western rock and roll music on Arabic lyrics, that's for sure.
It's funny, I always wonder the building blocks that people think are essential for the songs that they write.
Mm-hmm.
And they change, right? So like every now and then you speak to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I could play this just with that bass line. Yeah, no, the bass line is the song. Yeah. And I mean, right. And some people are like, oh no, I could play that just with the chords. Mm-hmm. The chords are really the unique DNA, and it changes from song to song.
Yeah.
With this, for me, this sounds like it's the vocals, and it's really the poetry, and that's kind of the song, and you created instrumental to match it. Is that right, or am I wrong about that?
That's the exact opposite of what happened, or what happens all the time. Basically, I never started with lyrics and like threw tunes on the lyrics. It always starts with the music, with the chord, with the feeling, and then I start pushing. Like text is the next step always. Text follows the music.
You're sitting at home, you're on the couch, you grab your guitar and you start playing a riff, or you start playing a little progression. Oh, what if I do the sixth there? What if that has this weird like flat six on it? And oh, this is interesting. And what about this? It's not with the riff either. It's really the chord progression is the thing that shapes the song.
It's the next three. So because it's you start with that spark, okay, that makes you go to the next step, which is the next chord or the next line. Sometimes you repeat the spark. Sometimes you don't need to add something new, okay? And I have a theory about music, and like it's related to this question. We don't write music. I never wrote music. I discovered music, because mathematically speaking, it's a finite set of chords out there, and eventually you can compute it, right? So it's like that infinite library. Yeah. It's an infinite library. It's a finite library, basically, of tunes out there. And I just put ownership. That's something that was already there. Like if you say this song is la, fa, la, mi. So it exists. The la, fa, la, mi exists abstractly there without me. I just claimed ownership on it and said, okay, let's do that. And these are the lyrics. So So back to the question, what is important? It's the sequence. It's the time, and it's the sequence of what was already there. It's not the bass. It's not the instrument. Never. Like I think about music very, very abstractly outside of everything. Rock and roll is just an implementation of this abstract.
Yeah. it's interesting because to start the conversation, you were like, the music that we're making and the name of the band and even the cover art is about Amman.
Yeah.
Right? It's about a place. So it's not just that the music is the music and the lyrics happen to be in Arabic.
Yeah.
It is actually locally rooted.
Of course. So yeah, because at the end of the day, like, what is the value?
Like for you, this song is about Jordan, right?
No. What drives the song is about life in Jordan. There was like that. I'm not describing.
What does that mean?
So, what does that mean?
I'm curious.
It's like, so I'm never describing Jordan. I'm never describing Amman. But what I've been through certain like life experiences and love, losing love and all, like anyone else, right? Okay, that flavor is all Ammani. Like I need to color my I need to be relevant. Every artist is looking for relevance, right? At the end of the day, we can talk philosophy all the time, but we need to eat, we need to socialize, we need to wear clothes, and we need to be out there. We need to have a shape. We need to have a concrete shape to things. And I chose that. Like I chose the most general thing, which is Amman, the city we live in, rather than me, or I don't know,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to the second one.
Okay.
Which is also from. Oh no, this is not from the same album.
This is from the second album, Am al-Musiqa, and the song is called Al-Khutta.
So tell me the meaning of the significance of the name Al-Khutta, the plan.
The plan. Yeah. So this song, especially this one, this is the only song in this album that I wrote. Like I kept sewing over the years. It had so many different shapes before I reached this final version, especially in lyrics. So the lyrics like were 70% there, but I could not. They were too personal at the other 30%, and I like back to the previous point. I wanted to find relevance, so I turned it into a plan, a conversation between a guy and a girl, and the guy is explaining to the girl what's happening to her. Okay. And if you like, I can't solve your life, but I have a plan, and the plan is in the song. There is no one meaning to the songs when it comes to Akher Zapheer. Basically, I don't like descriptive songs that have a story and an ending. That have a story and an ending, basically. But like keep the meaning to the listener.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen to it. Then we'll keep talking. Yeah. So this came out in 2020. Yeah. Let's listen to it. Amazing. So here's a question for you. As there's the question I was like thinking the entire song. Is this a song that you would want to perform live? Do you like performing stuff like this live, or is this like for you something that's really intimate and quite frankly, like don't even look at me while I'm
so like
singing this?
this is a very good question, because like it was a struggle at the beginning to show my emotions on stage, and sometimes I really got emotional on stage, which is like not good, man, for a performance. So but I taught myself to get into this mode just in the last 3 gigs. Maybe I did them better than the last ones, because like I put myself in this mode where I look at myself in a third eye and detach myself from the emotions in the song. You can't do otherwise, because I like, even vocally you perform better when you are not, breathing hard about the song. So yeah, back in the days, yes, it was hard, but now, no, I enjoy everything, basically. I don't enjoy shouting, maybe. I don't like to shout as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Like grueling, not shout, like grueling, basically.
Yeah. For you, has this, because it took so long to actually get this out there, now listening to it, has its meaning changed and what it means to you changed?
Yeah. So the process is, you feel something, you write a song about it, until it reaches the studio. If you're lucky, it's 1 year, and then until it reaches the listener, it's 2 years. So by then, it's always a memory. It's always, you don't feel fresh about the song as much, because I never release in a fast paced way. I don't have that mechanism in the band. It's always a long process.
When you when people tell you they like your music, are you like surprised that they know it? Are you excited about it? Are you like, what is your relationship with notoriety and sort of
but it makes me happy very much, basically. Yeah, it's I won't very complicate the answer. It's the reward, it's the fruit, it's the indicator as well. It's the KPI that tells you, yes, you're doing something correct here, right? So yeah, it's what every artist is looking for, because it's the compass. You can't function without knowing the opinion of others for your songs. So yeah, it makes me happy. And like some feedback is, it's very generic, like, hey, they like the known songs, and some feedback is very personal, like, wow, man, I don't want to affect your life this way, this much. Yeah.
But it's tricky because it's like for example, like Hala, I asked you to send me a couple songs, right? And you chose you chose one of them, at least on the Converse album. That's
this is the same. If you go like this Khotta has the least view in the second album as well. I chose this one for that reason, and but like by chance, it's my favorite song in the album as well.
Because this is precisely why I'm asking you the question. Right? Because when somebody comes up to you and they said, Ya akhi Allah, I love your music. I love your music. Chances are they don't like the same stuff that you like the most.
Most of the time, that's the case, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm asking this, because like as an artist, you're trying to be understood. That's the nature of being an artist, right? You're trying to tell your story and trying to give the world a little peek into who you are and how you feel and what you're going through, right? And every single time you do it, people are gravitating towards the thing that you're like, not this one, not this one, that one.
Yeah. And like every time you do it, you lose some people and you gain new people. And like who used to like your first album, like doesn't like your second, and all that, right? And at the end of the day, you stop caring about that, right? You'll have all kinds of groups loving different kinds of groups of your songs, and that's good enough, man.
Yeah, it's super, super interesting. This is something I do struggle with, you know? It's like, it's like you're a chef and you make a dish and the person is like, you make chocolate chip cookies,
Okay.
right? And they're like, oh, I love, my favorite thing is all the sugar you put.
Mm.
And you're like, no, it's the salt.
Mhm.
The salt is the best part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
It's
can
tricky.
compare that to what's right? How a chocolate chip cookie should be, right? Maybe
So,
it's objective, it's subjective. I don't know.
yeah. What's the live music scene like in Amman in Jordan? Is there a live music
Yeah,
scene?
there is, of course. Like we have our summer festivals. Like we have because like we have Roman amphitheaters, which is a very nice
Akid.
location to
Yeah.
do things. We have, and Jordan has lots of artists, as you know. So yeah, things are always happening.
Yeah. So you've traveled around the region a bunch.
Mhm.
Where do you think has the sort of your favorite places to play, your favorite fans to play in front of?
Mhm.
Where is your
Like
your fans sort of the
of,
most?
Cairo. Like our biggest fan base is in Egypt, and like our I don't like to call them our fans. Like they are our the
People
audience,
who like
the
your
people,
music.
people who love us and we love them back. They are the best in Egypt. Like we have so much good time. It's surreal. Like there is nothing in my life better than some moments backstage prior to some shows or after some shows. Yeah, so definitely Cairo and Alex and like Egypt in general.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, let's listen to the last
Sure.
song. Tell us what it is and why you chose it.
So this is Urtuwazi from our last album, which is Tha'ban. Urtuwazi means artesian, and it's a song about someone. So there is like a proverb, "Za'ali bir," which means like if in a hardship it goes down the well, it doesn't go up. So this is an artesian well where it stores. So this is a guy telling his story where he is mad at the world and he is doing an identity change in the lyrics. He's changing everything around him, and this is why, and he's explaining why he did it. And also I chose this song because I'm proud of the clip. We did this before AI was cool. Yeah. Because we did it very manually. Like now you have the tool to transform video to video, but we did everything on Blender and then frame by frame used an engine to AI it and then smoothed everything. Like it was a big process like back then. So yeah, and I love the song, and we try to get outside of our comfort zone when it comes to the sounds here. Everything you listen to is analog, it's not electronic, which is nice. That's why I love this song. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. And this just came out, right?
It's
like a year ago?
A year ago, yes.
Cool.
وصلت محل عالي وبراسي دفنت كل اصحابي زوارت خطي خطوة لانسحابي ومع حالي عحالي كتبت كتابي وصفات بتصرف ارتجالي ورشيت ملحة ببداري وهيك انتو غيرتوني من لون الدنيا سلبتوني وبطل عندي وش محدد شك الشك شوقتوني وبحالي شككتوني وبطل عندي وش محدد وجمعت كل أجزاء ركامي واشتغلت اشتغلت عحالي وفتحت 7 قنواتي صحصحت من سباتي ونشرت للكل خبر وفاتي زعلي بيه همي وارتوازي وهيك انتو غيرتوني من لون الدنيا سلبتوني وبطل عندي وجه محدد الشك بالشك شوقتوني وبحالي شككتوني وبطل عندي وجه محدد هيك انتو غيرتوني من لون الدنيا سلبتوني وبطل عندي وجه محدد شك بالشك شوقتوني وبحالي شككتوني وبطل عندي وجه محدد ملمسة بقلبي فات وبقلبي مسافات ملمسة بقلبي فات وبقلبي مسافات ملمسة بقلبي فات وبقلبي مسافات ملمسة بقلبي فات وبقلبي
Man, so interesting to see the evolution
of the band, of the music.
of the sound. Yeah, it's like really interesting to.
And like
So,
in this
when-
song, sorry, I just want to say, in this song I had more band input with me. Thus,
What do you mean?
like first album, second album, it's me and the producer creating the song directly.
Yeah.
In the third album, I had the guys with me, so everyone had their own soul into their instrument. They had their own original lines, you know. So yeah.
It's interesting. Like, do you feel like you approach each album with like a challenge in mind? Like, okay, I want to unlock this, or how do you approach it?
I don't approach albums. I approach songs, song by song,
Okay.
and then I like group them into an album. Yeah, it's the challenge is in the song, and the song has to be like it. I keep working on it until it's not annoying to listen to it 100 times. Right?
Yeah.
It's just perfecting. It's a sprint of like evolving the song into what you see fit.
You know, it's so funny. Like, I was listening to it and I was thinking to myself, this could be like this song if you were a little more cynical and a little more commercial, right? You could turn this song into some like very TikTok-y song,
Like
right? Like it has
a trending
the
sound.
raw
Yeah.
elements, song, right? And you could say to them, all right, guys, let's figure out the 1 minute version. Let's have a drop. Let's add some lyrics that can be attached to some trend, and let's put this together, and let's make a dance move
Yeah.
that goes with it, right?
Yeah.
But are you capable of doing that, or does it like eat you up inside?
It eats me up inside, of course. It does. Like some even like there was this era where na 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 is, if you say, like, everyone is doing na na nas in their song because a na 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 is very trendy in Instagram or so.
And
Yeah, so
you're from the balad of the nananas.
exactly. So yeah, I don't like. So this raises the question: why am I doing this? Right? Like, okay, everyone wants 100 million likes, but they should be organic. They should come in an eco-friendly way from people who genuinely like you. I don't want to trap people into a trap and get them around me and then say, look, this is my other stuff that I care about. Have a look at that stuff. I don't know.
Hello, put some nananas in here. It's so funny. So let's I want to ask you one question that I didn't tell you about, but I want to ask it to you because I think it'll be fun, and I think you've been in the game for so long, you'll probably have some good good suggestions. And if you need to take some time to think about it, we can I can give you a few minutes to think about it. If you were putting together a playlist of your favorite alternative bands from the Arab world, who would be on that playlist? Like if you were making me a mixtape.
How many songs?
From the past or the present? Who would be on the mixtape?
Like, I'm not just saying names because some bands are like my friends and I'm doing politics. No, I'm saying all the bands that I genuinely like. So جدل, مشروع ليلى, أوتوستراد, مربع, زيد حمدان, of course Juan Safadi from Palestine. Aziz Marqa, for sure. I'll put Kairuki there as well. لازم Kairuki. Masari Kbari, for sure. I forgot her name. Miriam. أنا مش بغني. The Egyptian singer. Yeah, she's I forgot her second name. So yeah, also from Tunisia, Labes, amazing. I'll put even some rappers from Saudi Arabia. I love Saudi rap for some reason. Yasmin Hamdan, I said Zaid Hamdan, of course Yasmin Hamdan as well. Yeah, basically that's on the top of my head, basically.
So like in 2007, were you listening to Soap Kills? Like were you into that stuff as well?
Of course. I was a fan of Soap Kills since they started. Yeah, definitely.
Or not even 2007, like 2002 and 2003 and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Very, very, very cool. Okay, we're going to finish up with a quick Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
What are you reading or watching or listening to these days?
Nothing new. I'm reading about Richard Feynman, the physicist, and it's a book by Lawrence Krauss, which is another physicist, talking about the life of Feynman and why he is brilliant, which is nice. Like it calms me down. Yeah, and listening to lots of Nick Drake all the time. And what's her name? Crystal Waters from the 90s house singer. I've been I remembered her last month and I didn't stop listening to her ever since. So yeah, watching, I don't watch. I watch the news. Like I watch videos about the world, but not watching shows anymore. Last time I did that 5 years ago.
Okay, let me keep going. Who would you love to shadow for a day, past or present?
So the answer for that is Slavoj Žižek.
Who is
That's
that?
He's a philosopher, a public intellect. He's the one who did that debate versus Jordan Peterson, and he buried Jordan Peterson. Yes, you should check him out. He lisps, so he's a very like extreme character.
How do you say his name again? Say his name.
So the pronunciation is Slavoj Žižek, but you write it Slavogzizek, something like that. You know, because Slavic name. Yeah, his ways of thinking is. I wish I can like reach his articulation and all that. So
amazing. What do you think? What do most people misunderstand about your work?
They get into the lyrics more than they should. They try to create.
No, don't
it's not everything is that meaningful or that concrete meaning. Yeah, so enjoy the music. Try to feel it yourself. Try to put your story on the song.
Yeah. Was your mom like, who is seducing
you? You know, why is she singing?
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was like, is this a metaphor for Amman? Is Amman seducing you? Is that what this is?
Bteghwee is about a girl, basically. It's about a girl in Amman.
Yeah. And what artist from the past would be your dream collaborator if you could pick anyone?
From the past, of course, like Kurt Cobain. 100 million%. Then Michael Jackson.
Wow, really? I had no idea that would be your second.
He was my idol before getting into rock and roll. Like when I was 8, 9, and 10. Big Michael Jackson fan. And like even later, but yeah.
Wow, that's so funny. What would you say is your sort of like Mount Rushmore, your top 5 Michael Jackson tunes?
Okay, In the Closet, Earth Song, Billie Jean, Remember, and I'll say Dangerous also.
Yeah, cool. I think those are different producers. No. They're not all Quincy Jones. Because I think Remember the Time was Teddy Riley.
Okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, Earth Song, I'm not sure. It's really cool. It's sort of very different sonically. All of them are very different.
Yeah, from different times also.
Yeah. Amazing. So if anyone's interested in finding you guys on social media, it's very easy to find you. Akher Zapheer. So that's AKHER.ZAPHEER. Basem, thanks so much for doing this. I'm a big fan of your work, and
Thank you, Mikey.
I'm an even bigger fan now that I got to learn more about it. Thanks so much, man.
Let's meet when you come to Amman.
Akid.